In this set of tutorials, we're going to look at After Effects type tools and its type animators. Now, we were working with type in this previous tutorial video where we had the type appearing on the screen and then changing its scale and its position properties as we moved through the animation. And that was fine for this level of animation, but what if I wanted to have each character of a word come on individually and fly in from the left and blur and such like that? Well, if I wanted that sort of level of control, then I'm not going to be able to rely upon bringing Illustrator's type graphics into After Effects. I'm going to have to work with After Effects type tools on their own. So let's do that here in this video. I'm going to come to the composition drop-down menu and select a new composition. And I'm just going to say OK. And I can, well, I've got a new composition here, but I need to work with some text. So I can come to the Layers drop-down menu and select New Text. Or I can just come to the toolbox over here on the top left and choose the text tool and just click somewhere in that composition window. And once I do that, I'm just going to type in some sample text. And I'm going to reposition that just a little bit and scale it up, just so we can see that a little bit easier. All right. Now, the first thing I want to draw your attention to is that we have a characters panel, just like we have a characters panel in Illustrator and Photoshop. In fact, this is based upon the Photoshop character panel, so it should look familiar. It's got all the text properties, typographic properties, but the one thing you don't see in this panel are any stopwatches. And as we know in After Effects, anytime you see a stopwatch, you have an animatable property. Well, the animatable properties are not here in the characters panel. They are actually in the layers panel as a part of this text layer down here. If I twirl down this disclosure triangle, you can see in fact that there are a number of properties. Here are our layer properties, and here are some new text properties. Well, that's interesting. So this is where we would animate our text. But before we do that, let's talk about the effects panel in After Effects, because After Effects has a number of preset type animation effects that are quite a lot of fun and quite powerful. Now, if you open up your effects and presets panel, you'll see that there's a whole list of different animatable properties here. You'll also, if you scroll down, you'll see that there's something here called text. Well, text actually isn't where we want to be to animate this text. What we want to do is we want to open up the animation presets disclosure. And if we scroll down, you can see in fact there's another folder here called text, and inside that folder there's a number of other folders, and inside those folders we finally see that there's in fact these presets. And so you can see that there's an awful lot of presets, and we could double click any one of these to apply that effect to this sample text here. But can you imagine trying to find the exact animation that you want from this long list and buried within all these folders? That would take you forever. So in fact, there's an easier way to browse these presets rather than just trying to do it here in the effects menu. If you click on the option button for that effects menu, you'll see that there's something here called Browse Presets. And when you select Browse Presets, up pops the After Effects preset animation folders. And you can see that there are in fact a number of different folders here. One of them is called text. Hey, let's click on that. And inside that text folder is a number of other folders, some of them called animate in, that means animate onto the stage, animate out, meaning animate off the stage, and a number of other different types of folders as well. Let's just double click animate in. And here inside that folder you can see that there are a number of presets with previews to show you what each of those effects does. This is a much easier way of trying to find a text animator if you can actually see how it works rather than applying each one separately. Here I can see something that works for me. It's a random shuffle of each of the letters of the text coming in from the left. I'm just going to double click that, and that automatically applied that effect to my sample text. Random letters generating in from the left. Okay. Where most students have trouble when they apply these presets is that the preset doesn't have the properties that they need. It either the text either animates too slowly or too quickly or not at the right time. And what happens is that they open up the layers panel and they reveal the keyframes for this particular animation, and they realize that there's just two keyframes. Oh, and they're applied to something called offset. This is where a lot of people start having a little bit of trouble. So it would be a really good idea if we knew what After Effects was doing underneath the hood of these presets in order for us to go in and then make these presets our own, change them so that they fit our parameters. And that's what we'll look at in our next video.